Very cool. Amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go. Oh. Wait, is that why you asked for the meme pic? Yeah.
So you
Yeah.
see,
Just you wait.
They don't know.
they don't.
God.
It was
Oh, God is dead.
indeed.
And Jesus Christ legally changed his middle name to fucking. I mean, your words, not mine. Yeah, same. Probably my favorite. It's long. Yeah, good try.
It worked. What do you think?
Same thing.
Yeah, it can be at times.
Existence sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Oh. Hmm. Epic. Oh, yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get kicking. Dick kicking.
I'm all out of ass.
And I'm all out of ass. Dick kick 'em.
That video is just so fucking good.
Oh, yeah, it's a good video. Anyway, so this is Fanfiction Contempt Theater 9005. I'm your host, Sneaky Devil. And we're back at it again with more shit fanfiction because you know what? The unending flood just doesn't stop.
Pain.
You know what? What have we not done recently? You know, we've done a lot recently. How about Pirates of the Caribbean? We all loved pirates, right?
No, well, depends on what kind of pirates, I guess.
We
Pirates of the
talking the
Caribbean.
Disney movie?
The Disney movie.
It's pretty fun.
Yeah.
Second one was okay.
Yeah.
Third one kind of jumped off the deep end.
Yeah, I really
Did you know they
only
made a
consider they have like 6, dude.
When did 5 and 6 happen?
A couple years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
I only saw the first
Hey,
and
big deal.
second ones, which as far as I'm concerned is the only ones that ever happened. So
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Never
rest
actually seen any of them.
Really?
I have.
Yeah,
I think-
surprising.
I
know.
think the first one's worth a watch.
Oh, so that explains it. So the director for the first 3 was the same guy, and the same writers for the first 4, which explains a lot.
Yep.
Did 5 and 6
Yeah.
just go even further off the deep end than 3 and 4 did?
Oh, apparently the 6th film is not announced yet, but it is in the making.
Oh no.
But,
No.
Yeah, they went to weird areas with the 4th, 5th, and 6th movies.
It's weird because like I mentioned 3 kind of jumped off the deep end, but it was still kind of fun in a way. But that was a pretty definitive wrap.
That's because At World's End was the last film from Gore Verbinski, and I think he thought it was also the last film in the series, so he just ended it.
Yeah.
Joke's on him. They found a way to milk even more movies out of a ride.
So, yeah, I mean, also if you consider the following. So, Curse of Black Pearl was 2003. Dead Man's Chest was 2006. So that's a 3-year gap, which gives you plenty of time to write the story, find the actors, and cast the whole thing, which is why I probably remember the first 2 movies, because they were pretty good. And then the third movie, At World's End, was only a year.
Yeah.
So they were writing and acting for the third movie probably before the second one even came out. Which isn't good, as we can all look at World of Warcraft for what happens when you keep to a very tight release schedule and still try to tell a story.
Fucking
Then
idiots.
4 years later, On Stranger Tides comes in. I don't remember that movie at all.
That was the mermaid one with Blackbeard. It was pretty shit.
The what? The who? Oh.
Blackbeard shows up?
Wow.
Yes.
Okay.
Did they mess him up?
Probably.
He's a voodoo practitioner.
That's
That's
not
what
that
I'm
bad.
going to say on
Okay.
that.
Alright. I'm gonna
It-
admit, that seems like something he would have done for his legend, though. Like, let's be real. This man
Yeah.
walked around with cannon wicks stuck in his beard.
Yep.
Yeah.
So his guys are zombies. He's except for the normal crew. The
Alright,
ship
fair.
is alive itself.
Wait, why does he have
Alright,
2
fair
separate
enough.
crews? Wait, hang on.
One's his officer cast and one's the
Zombies.
No, the zombies are the officer cast. Has the regular crew is the guys that can't just make sure this ship runs, even though the ship is alive, and all he has to do is will the ship to do something, to have it do something.
Wait, hang on. Did they just turn him into Davy Jones without any of the charm of Davy Jones?
Well, there's already
Kind
Davy
of.
Jones.
Davy Jones technically was dead and then got replaced with Will at that point.
Yeah.
But anyway, point being is that I still like that Blackbeard already more than Assassin's Creed Blackbeard was secretly a woman all along bullshit.
No.
No, you are
No,
completely off on
you
that
are
one.
completely off base.
What?
No, that was
That was someone else who was
that was
known to be a
someone
woman
else.
cross-dressing during that time period.
No, I'm pretty sure that was Blackbeard.
No,
No,
Blackbeard was
Ziggy, it wasn't.
still the Candlewick man, and
Yeah.
was one of the oldest pirates. Almost managed to retire, and then kept on doing his thing because, yeah,
It's lucrative, to be fair.
yes.
Yes.
I am really, really curious, Sneaky, as to what AC4 you played.
Oh. Well, to be fair, I really only remembered the part where you're a pirate. I don't remember the story at all, okay?
I mean,
I don't think anyone
that's the
does.
important part of the story, was that you're a pirate. That's the only part that mattered.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, apparently Skull and Crossbones got canceled, by the way.
Oh, the horror.
Going what now?
Skull and Crossbones. So basically, with the massive success of Ubisoft's, ooh, I can't say that word out loud on Twitch. Okay, well, so my roommate called Black Flag something else.
All right.
Oh no.
Right, yeah, I guess so. I guess
Yeah. But with the massive success of Assassin's Creed 4, because Assassin's Creed 3 kind of bombed.
Yeah.
With the massive success, they decided, hey, people have been saying they really like our ship-based combat, so we're gonna go make a game with only that being the premise, instead of shoving the Assassin's Creed stuff into it. So like what I said back when I played Assassin's Creed 4, I was like, wow, this is a great game, except for all the parts that were Assassin's Creed.
Those fucking tailing missions.
Yeah.
There were
Ugh.
so many.
Hey, we're gonna make this guy go faster than your walk, but slower than your run. And if you get too close to him, you lose him. And if you get too far from him, you lose him. Also, by the way, occasionally NPCs will just randomly get in your way, and then suddenly he'll detect you.
Yep.
Oh, cool.
There were a few of those missions where I was like, you know what? Just to make myself feel better, I'm just gonna air assassinate this person.
Right. I mean,
I don't care. That's not the end of the
everyone
mission.
did it.
I actually tried to do a 100% run of Assassin's Creed 3, and I got actually like to 92% ish. Except there was this one mission in Assassin's Creed 3 where you're racing your father to tail this one guy, and you're like supposed to beat his time or something like that. Like you have to get there in 1:30 because your father gets there in 1:32 or something. Without alerting the target or getting into combat or anything. And
That sounds so stupid.
I got fucked over by RNG so consistently that I just
Wait,
gave up and stopped playing the
How do
game.
you get screwed over by RNG in a tailing mission? Like,
Soldiers, because it was a tailing racing mission.
oh yeah, and if soldiers happen to get one of the
Soldiers-
randomized path, because
Yeah.
that was one of the big things I remember with AC3. It's like, yeah, soldiers have a slightly more randomized path to them now.
Yeah.
Like, there's still a path, but it's not the same every time.
I would just get consistently spotted by soldiers because I was trying to take some shortcuts. Because if you don't take the shortcuts, you lose the racing part of the 100% run.
Yeah.
So I was just like, fuck this. And I stopped playing the game. I got to all the way to 92% synchronization, and I just said fuck it and stopped.
I got to 100 and it was not worth it.
I had 74% in AC4, and then Ubisoft lost my save.
Yeah, same.
Save just
Nice.
completely disappeared. I'm just like, you motherfuckers.
But yeah. So Skull and Crossbones was their attempt at making a purely pirate game, and
Alright.
It's
then
like 5
after
years
like
too
10
late,
years,
but all right.
well, no, it was like 10 years of development hell. Like right after Assassin's Creed 4, this team split off to go make Skull and Crossbones. And and then they went through like 10 years of development hell, and their team constantly being shrunken and reduced in numbers, and budget cuts, and then rescopes. According to one of the ex-Ubisoft employees, there was like 7 or so rescopes of the project.
Oh.
Yeah. So, then they ultimately, Ubisoft just canceled the project. It's like, fucking hell, man.
They had the multiplayer nailed down with Unity, and ship combat nailed down 2 games prior with Black Flag.
Yeah.
That should have been a slam dunk within 4 to 5 years of development time.
Yes,
what the hell, guys?
But what you're forgetting, Max, is Ubisoft is French.
Well, they're also greedy.
Yeah, that's
which is
right.
why AC was turned into a yearly franchise
But
instead
mostly
of
French.
the 2-3 years.
French and Canadian, so
Yeah.
So it works.
double horrible.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the history of pirate stuff we just talked about. So let's get into the pirate section. Pirate movies should have stopped existing after the 3rd one. You're not wrong. Also,
Yeah.
I just want to highlight here, Lord Nosehair is resubscribed at tier 1. They've been subscribed for 46 months.
I think my
Why
stats is higher.
is he still giving you money?
That's a question.
I don't know.
No, I'm at 45.
I'm not gonna complain.
I know
streaks
you're
of
not.
32.
I'm just curious as to why he keeps giving you money when you're such a dickhead to him.
I am perfectly reasonable to him.
No, you fucking aren't.
It is nose hair.
Yeah.
So let's see what we got here. We got Heaven's Ocean. When Norrington rescues an unknown girl from a Spanish ship. Okay. Little does he realize their lives will become intertwined. And later on, everyone is searching for the mysterious amulet of Capot. What does it do, and why does everyone want it? Well, you know what? That's actually not a bad summary.
Yeah.
That's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the title's cringe as hell, and I think it's going to be a romance story with some sort of, like, overarching search plot built into it. And I'm not interested in it at all, but the summary's actually not that bad. Also, OC. Female OC. So,
Yep.
female OC, female author name. I think we all will know where this is going.
Yeah.
So there was an author I was reading a story from today, who said that they have a language disability and that people shouldn't bother correcting them because they don't have the time or energy to deal with it.
There are people who do that for you
Okay.
for free on fanfiction.net. They're called beta readers.
Yeah, they said they were gonna use a beta, but that they'll get around to it someday.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So next up we have Catch the Wind, by another female author. Theodora always dreamed of waking up in a fictional world like Middle-earth or Hogwarts, but unfortunately for her, she ends up in the golden age of piracy. Actually, that's not really unfortunate. Like, look. Hogwarts and Lord of the Rings seem cool.
But they're not.
They're not.
More than 5 minutes of
No,
thought
man.
into it as well, and it's like, this is
No.
a world in which I am likely to die in my first week or two.
Lord of the Rings, definite
Yeah.
possibility. But
Maybe not in Harry Potter. It's
no, in Harry Potter you have the problem with the international terrorism being sponsored by the British government. And I'm talking about Voldemort, in case anyone is confused with any other international terrorist sponsored by the British government.
Yeah, but even then, you can just fuck off to somewhere like somewhere that isn't mentioned in the plot of anywhere and be fine 99.99% of the time.
You certainly could. I mean, same thing
As
goes
a
for
random
Lord of the
insert,
Rings.
of course.
But you also have to keep in mind that this is a person who believes Harry Potter to be this, like, haven world to be transported into.
Yeah, I mean,
and so
it's the modern
obviously
world
they
at
would
worst.
try and interfere with the main plot and try and get themselves stuck in
Yeah.
the middle of it and then probably
And
die
Sneaky-
horribly.
Also, it's the 90s, so it's worse.
Oh yeah, I mean obviously the 90s was just worse. But honestly,
Yeah.
I'll take the 90s over modern day, so...
You know what? I survived the 90s. I'm ready for another round.
Yeah, I'm you know what? Yeah, like I said, I'm ready for round 2 with the 90s. Modern
Put it
day
back
can
in
suck
gold.
ass. Only this time I'll invest in Apple early.
Yeah. Reasonable.
Oh, what's that? It's around 2020. Time to invest in GME.
Yeah. GME at $2.50. Oh, don't mind if I do.
Fucking wish I just bought it when it was 50 cents a share.
What,
At least they're
GME or
50.
Apple?
GME was at like 50 cents to
No.
$1
No,
in
no,
like
it-
20.
The bottom was like $2.
No,
50,
2018
I
and
think.
2019 it was like 50 cents
Yeah,
to
no,
$1.
let me go check because I know it's not below $1.
It was below $1 at some point, and
Or,
I said no to it
Bitcoin,
because of bad memories with the corporation. Oh dear God, Sneaky! Everyone our age wishes we'd gotten in on Bitcoin.
The bottom was
so
$2.57.
Alright.
Yeah,
That's the lowest
so-
it's been over the last
Lowest
10
it-
years.
Yep.
Also, all things considered,
Alright
the
then.
golden age of piracy wasn't that bad of an age to live in.
It just depended upon what your profession was and where you were in the Caribbean at that point.
Pretty
from what
much.
I remember.
You don't have to be anywhere near the Caribbean. Like, I think the deadliest thing to you in that age would have been hygiene if you weren't dicking around on the seas.
I mean, and even then, because you're a modern person and you know, oh, I should wash my hands, even just dunking them in clean water would be miles above modern hygiene.
Yeah.
With that, her mission to stay alive and avoid being labeled as a witch. Why would she be labeled as a witch? And steadfastly ignoring her budding feelings for a certain Mr. Norrington. Jesus Christ, people!
People have a thing for him, huh?
Apparently. A Captain's Love, Part 2, Curse of the Black Pearl. The Black Pearl is gone, the woman he loved is dead. And the life he once dreamed of got robbed. It's time for Captain Jack Sparrow to return to Port Royal to find out if there really is no way back to his dreams, to his love, and to his ship, or if there's still hope. Revised and extended edition. V2. Interesting. So this is a Captain Jack Sparrow times OC. Jesus Christ, can we turn the horny down?
No.
The answer is no, apparently.
What the fuck? What? Ah!
Yeah.
The Cattleman's Gun. Western AU. You know the series called Pirates of the Caribbean? Yeah. What if they were cowboys in the Midwest during the 1800s instead? Well, I don't think it would be very much Pirates of the Caribbean anymore.
Yeah, I'd just go play Red Dead Redemption 2 then.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, if you really want good-looking guys to have a gritty story to tell, there's Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
I don't even know why you're bothering trying to convert all of the pirate cast into cowboys. Just fucking why? Though I will say, I do want to see that one Tumblr post become a reality someday. The Tumblr post pointing out that the golden age of piracy, the French Revolution, and the Shogunate era were all at the same time period. And so
I don't think you're right on the historical events there, but it
no,
was. Hang on.
basically it's a Frenchman, a samurai, a pirate, and a cowboy. I think it was were all during the same time period, and so they technically could have met.
Golden Age of Piracy was 1650s to 1730s, so it's a bit early for that.
I don't know. Find the post. It's on your server. Someone probably has it.
Yeah, I know. I'm fucking looking. Hang on.
It hasn't been posted recently, but it's been posted multiple times by multiple different people.
Yeah.
Hey, Nexus, you probably have the post.
He would.
Treacherous, a trilogy. What post? The post talking about how the Shogunate, the era of piracy, French Revolution, and cowboys or something were all in the same time frame, and so technically, a cowboy, a pirate, a samurai, and a French militiaman or whatever could have all met up at some point and gone on an adventure. I still want to see a movie made out of that. I think that'd be hilarious. Someone's got to know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the specifics.
Yeah,
so I'm not
no one
even
does.
going to bother.
Yeah. Treacherous, a trilogy. You are as treacherous as the sea, my little dove. Featuring James Norrington and an OC.
Who's James Norrington again?
I don't know!
Isn't that the British officer in the first movie?
I really hope it's not.
I think it is.
Oh my god, it is!
Check.
Women, can you stop being horny?
No.
Of all the ones to be horny over, why him?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know.
right, Norrington. This dude that was completely and utterly just, he's a fucking idiot.
Best known for the meme that while his ship is blowing up, they did the slow-mo, I'm gonna walk down these steps.
Yeah.
Was that Norrington? I
That
thought
was
that was
Norrington.
someone else.
I'm
No,
pretty sure
that was Norrington. Yeah. It's
Like, he
his
got
second
clowned
movie.
on by...
That doesn't seem right because that wasn't that guy the owner of the East India though?
Yes, he was part of East India. Not the owner of. He was on a ship. He was chasing the Black Pearl, and then him and Davy Jones's ship, which had been taken over by Will by that point, decided to drive in separate directions and blow it apart, blow his ship apart as it sailed between the two. I knew it. Moth, in fact, had it. Probably.
Think is it? No.
No, Beckett was the one that was the ship blowing up. Norrington was just a guy that was in the Navy.
Yeah, it's not quite the same one, but it's pretty close.
Yeah, it's close. So yeah, like I said, the Cowboys and the Shogunate were ending at the same time. And if you took in a really old golden age of piracy guy, you could have an old pirate, a cowboy, and a samurai.
A 200-year-old pirate? Sure.
Well, no. If you were born... Okay.
The Golden Age of Piracy ended in 1730.
Yeah, I see it. So maybe the Silver Age of piracy.
I don't think there was a Silver Age.
Yeah, no.
I mean, no, fair enough. So a cowboy and a samurai find an old pirate in an alien tube. And now they have to fight aliens together.
I feel like the plot has escalated a bit here, but Godspeed.
Are you telling me you wouldn't at least give it a try?
Fair enough.
Exactly.
I'd give it a try, but I wouldn't have high hopes, thus it would be better.
Cassandros. Ah. Yes. So I'm gonna post. I'm just gonna post that picture real quick, so we can all see why I only use fanfiction.net.
Oh,
Ah.
what were we saying? It was cowboys, samurai, and
French.
pirates?
Yeah,
No,
Sneak.
about existing at the same time.
Yeah.
Piracy in the Caribbean started phasing out roughly in the 1830s, so this is still totally possible.
Excellent.
Cowboys are as early as the early
Samurai and
1800s.
cowboy all get together, fight aliens, take over a corrupt dictatorship. Let's go.
Like, pirates were just starting to just kind of wheedle out. Cowboys were getting their start. Samurai were kind of established. It's very interesting. You could turn to like a passing the torch moment almost.
Let's go. So yeah, if you see up on the screen, this is why I don't use other websites for fanfiction to read for the podcast.
Yeah.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom. Very cool.
Oh, it's not a slippery slope, Sneaky. Shut up, Sneaky. It's not a slippery slope.
Yeah, it's a cliff.
I mean, yeah, it's less a
It's a
slope
fucking
and more
cliff.
just an immediate drop.
Fucking vertical.
When it all comes down. By another girl. Elizabeth's older sister OC Rose is 15 when Will Turner is picked up from the water. 8 years later changes things quickly. Rose is unmarried and doesn't want to be tied down. Elizabeth is supposed to marry Norrington, but where does that leave Rose?
Wait, wasn't Rose the name of an earlier OC as well?
Um,
That you just looked at earlier?
Probably.
Probably.
Wasn't that the one that
It's
Norrington found and picked up off a ship? Off a Spanish ship?
No, she was unnamed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this section has the same issue. Was it Narnia?
Yeah, Narnia. It's just the horny
Yeah.
fangirls.
Horny women.
Horny women. It's just horny women. Like I can just scroll down the authors' names of this entire section, and it's like women, 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 and then I can look at their story, and it's woman meets Norrington. It's like, fuck. Also, this line is great. Rose is unmarried and doesn't want to get married, but Elizabeth is going to marry Norrington, and where does that leave Rose? It's like, unmarried?
Actually, you know, it's weird.
Wow.
I honestly would have thought that writers for this section going in for the self-insert romance stuff would be going for Will and not
Or Jack
the bastard
Sparrow.
officer.
You know, like Johnny Depp, like...
No, they're just gonna beat Johnny Depp.
Fair enough.
I could see why they wouldn't go for Jack Sparrow. He's more of a guy that you go out for like a one-night stand, not a romance.
He's the
Yeah,
guy that you
sure,
go
because
to-
this story is going to be a Jack Sparrow times OC times James Norrington story. Because
no.
of course we have to fit the second dick in there.
All right, is this the
One
trope
for each old.
for the Pirates of the Caribbean section? If it's a female OC, it's just immediately going to Norrington.
Yes.
Apparently.
Oh,
Seems so.
That's so weird.
Very cool. A romance humor story where Jack Sparrow is hired to give Henry Turner advice on how to fuck someone. Okay.
Great.
Narcisca Barbosa must now daughter of Barbosa. Okay.
That is a thing, unfortunately.
All right.
Fucking dumb shit.
He
Yep.
named his daughter after Narcissus. Really?
Yeah.
It's a name.
At least
Pirates of the
daughter of
Caribbean.
Barbosa is a thing.
The Flower in the Sea. This is the story of Flora Jones, the daughter of Davy Jones and Calypso. Big cringe. Growing up mundanely on land, a terrible tragedy throws Flora into the sea, where she eventually learns to become a sailor and pirate, and sets out to find her parents and defeat the diabolical Jolly Roger and his voodoo skeleton army. Wow, that honestly sounds exactly like the previous movie,
Amazing.
except worse.
Imagine that.
Yeah, honestly, this entire section is just horny, so let's see what's in the crossovers.
Oh, good God.
To no one's surprise, Harry Potter is the biggest crossover.
Oh,
Of course.
God, imagine that. I mean,
Followed
it's...
by Lord of the Rings, Twilight, and Naruto.
God. And then Pirates of the Caribbean... Hang on, what?
Yeah, and then Pirates of the
Crossover
Caribbean,
itself?
Jack Sparrow, yeah.
Uh,
Pirates of the Caribbean, Jack Sparrow crossover.
Oh, that's probably the book series that followed Teenager Jack.
Probably.
I read
probably,
the
but,
first book on that when it first released. It was I remember it being a pretty decent read. But it was kind of weird. There's
Leilouch
something
of
about
the
the two
Caribbean.
characters
Leilouch
them.
and Cece get a pirate ship so they can
Oh,
save
no.
Japan's gold. However, Captain
God.
Barbosa gets the gold.
Uh-oh.
So they have
Yeah.
to go on an adventure.
Uh-oh.
Go Chaos Pirates of the Caribbean. Holy shit.
They had a fever dream and they ran with it.
Yeah, they did. I mean, it's a one-shot story, so I mean, hey, good for them, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Sneaky Elaine found the post.
Oh, he found it? Ah,
Yeah, it's in like...
damn nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Victorian England, American Old West, Meiji Restoration, and the French privateering in the Gulf of Mexico. Conclusion: an adventuring party consisting of a Victorian gentleman thief, an Old West gunslinger, a disgraced former samurai, and an elderly French pirate is 100% historically plausible. My only issue with this entire picture is the French pirate's black.
I mean, Algiers.
Looks female too.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah.
But everything you just described for some reason sounds like it would be a weird fan art of some sort of Assassin's Creed thing.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is.
Nikki, don't fire the musket in the sewers. You're gonna alert everyone. Boom! Boom! No, I don't think I did. Unity. Oh, we got so good at running that dungeon. It really just comes down to whether to give an individual group is looking for reason to exclude or exclude. Hypothetical groups like these can go a lot further than this too. Fairly good reason when they would all meet up. And MLK and Anne Frank were born in the same year.
Yep.
Oh.
Whew.
It's true.
Close reason, yeah. Okay. Fighting game. Yeah, you know what? San Francisco. All right, you know what? I'll dig it. An Ocean's 11 with with these four in San Francisco. I dig
dear
it.
God.
Oh God. Well, you know what? I'll save this. Oh no, you'll see all my downloads. Oh no, it's just a bunch of Ronnie pictures.
Oh God. Oh no.
I've been
Only the humanity.
exposed.
Simp.
The benefits of only downloading safe for work stuff. I never have to accidentally make sure that I don't actually, flash something I shouldn't.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cringe. The fox that haunts the whirlpool. The Kyuubi Uzumaki Naruto container was KIA, but no body was found, according to Taki Katashi. The body may have fallen in the river, however, the theory has been called into question following reports of a blonde pirate that's begun sailing and attacking ships. Words 500.
Okay. Short, sweet, to the point, I guess.
Oh, jeez. Harry Potter Pirates of the Caribbean. A trip to Paris turns out to be almost perfect for both Hermione and William Turner. What the fuck?
Why though?
What is this?
That's an image.
That's an image. Oh boy.
Alright then.
Originally posted on 2021 from AO3.
Of course.
Naturally.
Oh god, why am I not surprised? Oh no. Oh
worm, of
no. What is
that?
this?
What?
What is this?
It's an abomination is what it is.
The worm. Pirates of the Caribbean crossover.
Yikes.
The Flying Dutchman gains a new captain. Taylor Herbert.
Wait, Sneaky, don't read the third paragraph. Oh no.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we can't do this.
They were gaming.
They were gaming. I mean, at least they're being period appropriate.
Yeah, I mean, that was from the skinheads, apparently.
At least they're being period appropriate.
True.
Oh, Jesus. Percy Jackson, Pirates of the Caribbean. Percy and Annabeth get a different kind of vacation sponsored by Poseidon. Okay.
What?
Is it one to the bottom of the sea? Please?
A One Piece Pirates of the Caribbean. Also, this is why I was so shocked by the crossover section that One Piece wasn't the most crossed over thing with Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah. I mean, that would make sense, Sneaky.
Yeah, I know.
That's the issue.
You know what? Or it brings up a good point. I can drink to that.
Cheers.
Lost in the blue. Jack Sparrow, after the events of the first movie, finds himself placed on an island, stranded in the One Piece world. Will he make splash or fall to legendary pirates that sail the seas? Well, considering that, what's that power in One Piece? The willpower power, the Katsu, Hatsu,
Haki.
Considering that Jack fucking Sparrow literally went to the literal end of the world for his ship,
and dragged it back.
and then dragged it back over land.
Over land by himself with a rope.
Yeah. I think he might have too much.
Fine.
I think he might have too much hockey, actually. He might have too much hockey.
Perhaps.
Unless you're gonna write Jack Sparrow as Jack Rackin of the One Piece world. That would be something. So yeah, speaking about One Piece, so my cousin was down here watching One Piece. Cringe. First off.
Unfortunate.
So while I was talking with him, I was kind of, like side watching One Piece just out of the corner of my eye, because I was just like, ooh, finey colors, brain distracted. The entire episode took place on the same scene. Like this, I think this is almost worse than Dragon Ball Z. Like, all 18 minutes or whatever, however, 23 minutes or whatever long the episode was, it all took place in the same scene. In fact, I don't think the villain moved at all during the episode.
That's correct, unfortunately.
And I'm just like, how does anything progress in this series?
Well, from what I understand, and low as it is, the anime is actually catching up to the manga, so they're having to do lots of filler and just lots of dumb shit to keep it to where they don't catch up.
Uh-huh.
Because the latest one, and wherever it is in Japan, inland that they have it, they actually spoiled the manga before the manga writers got the stuff.
Oh, no.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Pirates of the Caribbean Pirate War. When Link is transported to the Pirates of the Caribbean universe, can he help Captain Barbossa find Jack Sparrow and assemble the Brethren Court?
What?
1 chapter, 800 words. Naruto Uzumaki, Wolf of the Caribbean. Naruto Uzumaki, now alone with shattered memories, is granted a stroke of fortune when he comes across 2 men that he never should have met. Apprenticed to the deadliest of pirates, black-bearded Edward Kenway. Will he ever return home?
I wish not.
This is a Pirates of the Caribbean Assassin's Creed 4 Naruto crossover.
Great.
Woo! Holy shit. Don't leave tonight. Trapped in the past, Hermione finds herself drinking excessively, which then later leads into an interesting one-night stand with Captain Jack Sparrow. Can you women stop being horny, please?
I think the Pirates of the Caribbean is just going to be horny.
You know what? Fuck it, we're going to a different section. I can't take the horny.
It's too much.
I don't think anyone can here.
That's fair enough.
I'd rather not.
Alright, Ruby it is. Let's go.
That's the first one.
Yep. That's why I just took a drink.
Cheers, I'll drink to that.
The Silver-Eyed Monster. A Ruby story. What if the silver-eyed warriors of Remnant weren't warriors that used their ability to preserve life, but instead they ended life? What if the Silver Eyes granted extraordinary powers, but in return they made the user insane? Can our resident silver-eyed reaper deny her fate or become a bloodthirsty monster? Impressively, they're roaring forward. We had about 2 chapters and 6,000 words per chapter, so that's pretty good. They got a decently good update rate, so that's pretty good. I am completely uninterested in their story, however. That's a edgy ass hook. It's an incredibly edgy hook. And honestly, we can do with less Ruby stealing eyeball jutsus from the Uchiha.
Hmm.
How do you feel about this story, Max?
I'd rather not, I guess.
No?
No.
Fair enough. Omega, the blue-eyed wolf adoption story. After nationwide reveal of his failed transcripts and a mission going horribly wrong, John Ark finds himself exiled to the cold wild of Solitas. Realizing his dilemma, he has to dig deep, not only to survive, but to find his place in the world. What? A nationwide reveal of his transcripts? Why? No news agency would be allowed to do that shit. This is my first spin on a betrayed John Ark story. Oh. Alright, fine. Let's go. Fate is one cruel mistress, and none knew that better than John Ark. No, John, that's not fate. You're just a retard. He knew things were pretty bad for himself, but being abandoned and left to die really took the cake. He had fallen to the ground, wounded in battle, and clawing at the snowy earth trying to get up. With the intensifying blizzard ruining everyone's visibility, only a handful of students remained remotely near him as they all made mad dashes to the bullheads. Though, as he scrambled to regain his footing, he watched as the ire of his time at Beacon, Cardin Winchester, was trudging his way up to him. That looks bad, Johnny boy. Real bad. He huffed with low, hooded eyes, staring down at the wounded boy. Cardin, I need some help getting up. Not happening, Ark. Not with those wounds. You'll only slow me down, and honestly, I've had just enough of you. I would have thought the whole transcript thing would have been enough for you to get the picture, but obviously not. He spat with his trademark self-righteous indignation. Okay, no, first off, was Cardin an asshole? Yes. Was he a bully? Yes. Did he just proceed to blackmail John, now knowing his secret, instead of turning him in? Yes. Did he kind of turn a leaf after John saved him and he kind of realized the shit he was doing was kind of shit? Also, yes.
We don't actually know, but probably. Because they never actually revisit that at any point in the show.
No, doesn't Cardin have something to say to John after he saves him from the Ursa? It's been a long time.
He probably did something along the lines. Johnson's like, "Don't go near my friends," and Karn's like, "Yeah, I got it," and that's about it.
Yeah.
We don't know that he turned over a new leaf. He may have just been like, "Well, if I fuck with John, he can actually fuck me up now." It's not the same as turning over a new leaf.
That's fair. Okay, you know what? That's fair.
That's
So-
just
We just
realizing
went
the
to a
easy mark
different one.
isn't that easy anymore.
Went after a different person. Because
Yeah, it's pretty likely. Although, I gotta say, the balls on him to mess with an upperclassman, though. Like, after they made that reveal, that entire scene just became so odd.
yeah,
Because, like, maybe Velvet won't do anything, but I'm pretty sure Coco would.
Koku, Yatsu, and Fox all would immediately.
Didn't they canonize Team Coffee retaliating in the books?
I don't know. Never read the
Probably.
books.
Who cares?
But I saved your life. But anyway, so point being is that of all the people that Cardin was an asshole to, he actually had reason to be an asshole to John. Like, John actually deserves it. Like, if you find out that you've maybe, you know, since we don't know nepotism's really a thing besides Ozpin deciding who gets to join or not, I can only assume that Cardin's not too great in with Ozpin since we never see him again. But if you worked decently hard to get into Beacon, you know, pretty selective school, and then you find out that this wimpy ass kid that's barely skating by in all the classes is actually faking his way to get into the school. I'd be pretty pissed too.
Rebuttal, Sneaky. Cardin was bullying Jean before that ever was discovered. Well before. All he did was up the bullying campaign. So.
I know, Max. I'm not saying otherwise. I'm just saying I'd be pretty pissed too, because the author says that Cardin spat this out with self-righteous indignation about John's faking of his transcripts and all that. And it's like, that's no, not self-righteous.
Even John would say that it was pretty deserved.
Yeah, like of all people in all subjects, to be like, oh, he's just being self-righteous. Yeah, he only cheated his way into a combat school where in the future he'll be going on missions that put the safety of his team on his shoulders. And he only lied to get into the school about his combat records. It's like, no, there's no self-righteousness in that one. That's actually a legitimate condemnation.
Oh, sure, it is, but that has no bearing on why Cardin was doing what he was doing in the first place.
Oh, no, I was more talking about the self-righteous, the depiction of the author is giving Cardin right here.
Oh, this author can fuck off.
But I saved your life, John croaked out painfully as he desperately tried to stand again. He was on his knees, pushing himself up on one leg. I know, Cardin shouted angrily, his voice going unheard by anyone but John because of the roaring winds around them. I haven't forgotten. The shame I felt when a weakling like you had to protect me. I'm a damn Winchester. I don't need protection, especially not from a talentless hack, a bastard like you. With that and the boy left behind could do nothing as Cardin turned and kicked him squarely in the chest. Based.
Power move.
Ugh. John fell back into the snow with a pained groan, tumbling back a bit. You Like I said, not happening, Ark, he said as he turned to sprint off, probably to go meet his team and escape to safety. John, Ark, was left behind in the red-stained snow around him. His former and sister team had already made their way to the Bullheads by the time the decision was made. Did they know? Did they care? He may never know. Because he was about to be left behind. Also, did they know? Did they care? Of course they cared. That's why they put up with you. Fucking bitch. Anger and sadness. That's all he could feel now. To be tossed aside so callously. After lying about your combat record and being sent on a combat mission. Assuming you were qualified for it. I guess everyone has their worldviews. The fact that Cardin, by all accounts, made an attempt on his life by abandoning him was burning his thoughts. Yeah, he made an attempt on his life by not helping you after, not for good reasons, of course. It's like, I'm not going to help you specifically because you embarrassed me by saving me. That's a pretty shit reason to leave someone behind. But, Cardin's a bully, and etc., etc., etc. But also, at the same time, you probably wouldn't be in this scenario if you didn't fucking lie about your combat record. Oh, yeah, I'm a veteran, top of my class. Yep. Oh, so you can go on this mission then? Totally.
We still have no idea what his transcript said.
I think we kind of have an idea of what they might have said because John's commented on them before, if I remember correctly, about like like something along the lines of like
he bought forgeries. That's all that was said, I think, about
is that all that was said?
I
When he
think
said he asked
been
for the best or something.
John is stupid enough to do that for sure, but
yeah.
What fucking episode was that? I could go search for the script, but I don't know that he ever made any claims aside from, I forged my way here.
Yeah.
What guys could
I
you
know the fanon is that Roman Jr. and Neo were involved, usually in the fanon. With his forging, because even the fanon believes that apparently only one gang could control an entire city.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's retarded.
Yeah.
Much so.
I mean, Rooster Teeth believes that too, so.
Well, yeah, but like they're also retarded.
Yeah. Is what it is. Looking away from where the bullheads had taken off, the nearby blizzard picked up in strength and was headed straight into his direction. Okay. As much as he wanted to get up and try and find shelter from the storm, pain was becoming his only constant in his life. The four red, parallel gashes stretched across both sides of his chest throbbed. The price of his own negligence. In the middle of a heated fight with an Ursa, he heard the engines of the airship, and in his naivete, he had turned away from his opponent. The beast capitalized on the error and nearly ripped him in half. If he hadn't clumsily swung his shield upwards to somewhat guard himself when he did, it would have been quite the mess. He didn't even kill the damned thing. That being said, this isn't much better. John raised his head. He felt the gash with, and looked at the dull red liquid covering his gloved hand. Actually, packing it with snow, it would actually be pretty good. He sighed as he felt the last piece of his aura and his reserves drained. So he took this attack without his aura breaking? Interesting. That's, interesting. The power of his soul attempted to seal the wound, but he was still in dire straits. Looking to his side, he felt around with his hand to his left and outstretched in the snow near a piece of his old armor. What?
Okay.
Good question.
That's not a sentence.
All right. Well, Sneaky, they never
Yep.
mentioned what was on the transcripts, but I did find a great little meme comic, courtesy of that dude that always makes fun of Ruby in this format. Just link that. How the actual conversation probably went. I enjoy this artist. They do good work.
Yeah, oh yes, this guy. Yeah. John, 17, birthday not yet. School a really good one. I'm ready. And he is ready. Actual teacher. Seems legit. Husband, let him in. Yeah.
We're never going to get an answer as to why Jean was allowed through, because Glinda does point out in the second episode, there's no way this kid is ready despite what the transcripts might say. And Osmond's just calmly sipping from his cup. They're never going to answer that.
No, of course
We
not.
are
They've already
how many
dropped that
years
plot
out?
thread. They've dropped so many plot threads. The only plot threads they remember are the ones they just set up. And then they
Guys,
dropped those two.
We're 9 years out from when Ruby first launched.
Yep.
Fucking hell.
Yep. What a fat load of good that armor was. The Ursa Claw ripped right through it and him. Yep. Yes, it did, author. To his left, his family weapon, Croak Moors, laid in the snow, yet still in his hand. So he's been dehanded?
Well, you really gotta hand it to him.
I guess so. Staring into the night sky of Solitas, he couldn't help but feel broken and ashamed of himself, of his own arrogance and foolishness. This was all his fault. Yes it was.
Yeah.
He knew from the moment he left his boyhood home with the ancestral family blade, he was putting it all on the line. No. When you started lying about it, that's when you put it on the line.
Funny how that works.
His parents had long since forbade him from a young age from the family training and tradition. The reason being was his seemingly subpar potential with swordplay. But for some reason they didn't let him train in any other weapon, not even a spear. I guess they were out of spear dust that day. Also, no training in a gun either. It's literally point and shoot.
Strange. Point and click adventure game.
Yeah, literally.
Get him a shotgun. Requires even less aiming.
Look, all I'm saying is Call of Duty is a fast-paced point-and-click adventure, and you have to change my mind.
That's true.
Alright, time to go start a flame war in a forum somewhere with that quote.
Honestly, my favorite point-and-click adventure game has got to be Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Also, so yeah, if you know your swordplay is subpar, again, this is what I never really got from all of these authors that are like, John's swordplay was subpar, so he was banned from being a hunter. It's like, there is literally dozens of other weapon types he could train in, and that's not even discounting the fact that swordplay itself isn't a umbrella. There is short swords, there is arming swords, there is long swords, there is claymores, there is butcher knives, there is so many There's what's the severing knife or whatever it's called? The Germans called it.
Something like that.
Yeah. Like, there is so many other types of swords out there and ways to use them. You know, there's the kukri, the kama, there's so many other sword types, so many other ways to use a sword besides the classic short sword variety. But I think John's sword is actually a long sword, due to its length. Or an arming sword. But it doesn't have a taper point of an arming sword, so probably a long sword. So. But still, point being is that, like, so he shit with the family sword. There is hundreds of other weapon types out there that he could have tried to learn in.
Yeah. Hell, he could still take the family sword, and you know it doesn't take too much training to learn how to bash people's faces in? That shield.
True.
He could just specialize in defense. I'm sure there are plenty of hunter teams that would love to have just a pure tank.
True. Though at the same time, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of hunter teams that would prefer a gun more than a tank, simply because of the fact if you're being hit by Grim, you're doing something wrong. Sort of like Bloodborne, actually. If you're being hit, you're doing it wrong.
Pretty much.
I think in the world of Ruby, it's more like if you're being hit, then you better be ready, as opposed to you're doing something wrong. There are some of them that seem like
more
they are.
Like if you're being hit, you better be doing it on purpose.
Yeah, like this is something you plan for, or you have so much aura and armor, you just are willing to take the hits for
Or
whatever
your
reason.
semblance requires you.
Right.
Or yeah, man.
Which says a lot about you as a person if your semblance is, I want to be hit.
Yeah.
Oh, God, imagine how bad that semblance is on someone with, like, low aura reserves.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they would have low aura reserves for long, because either they're going to get bigger or they're going to die.
Yep.
Because if you have a semblance like that, then it's indicative of your personality not being the type of going, I have a semblance that means I need to get hit, but I don't have a lot of aura, so I'm not going to get hit. The sort of person that has a semblance like that wouldn't do that, so they'd be like, no, I'm just going to keep running in. I'll just finish the fight quicker. That I can see that sort of mentality from someone like that.
Clearly that's gonna work.
Yeah, and then it doesn't.
Whoops.
Also, so he can't use a sword. Why does that bar him from being a hunter in every other aspect? Like, you're telling me he can't go do push-ups either? Swordplay is crucial to push-ups? Swordplay is crucial to running? Swordplay is
Sneaky?
crucial
Your
to
body
dodging?
doesn't actually work unless you're holding a sword.
Oh, right, I forgot. Backstepping doesn't work unless you're holding a sword. It's why I can never get it down.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense now.
Exactly.
It's a sword-only deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't sprint either. That's also locked behind the sword.
Sword DLC.
The sword sprint DLC. God. His father had allowed his older sister to show him the basics, hoping that his first son would be skilled enough to take on the sword. But sadly, the boy proved that his aptitude for the sword wasn't there. Days turned to weeks as his sister constantly failed at training the boy, his weak stance and sloppiness constantly rearing his head. While normally this wouldn't be a major issue, as the boy would simply have to learn a different style of combat, family tradition clearly said that if he couldn't take on the arc style of swords play, he couldn't be a hunter.
Oh, yeah, sounds like brilliant fucking reason.
Oh my God, we're doing this fan-in horse shit again, I see.
It's tradition, you see.
Clearly.
Every male arc had to learn down the previous generation's techniques, the reason being tradition. Only men were allowed to do family affairs. The title of ruler of the family had to be a man. But because John failed to learn the traditions, he was not worthy.
Amazing.
We're really going here. All
Yeah.
right.
Yep. Sure.
Though Julius loved his son, he loved the traditions of his family even more. So what, you're just gonna have to keep producing children until you get a second son, I guess?
Yep.
Because if you can only pass the title of leader of the family to your son, and your son apparently can't hold the title of leader of the family without learning the family swordplay, then I guess he'll just have to get another son.
Yep.
Or just never die.
Yeah. And you can't even use the son duplication glitch, because you're just gonna get another shitty son.
They patched that out.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah, but if you duplicate a piece of shit, like, what do you get? Oh, another piece of shit. Right?
True.
It
true.
doesn't even matter.
Unless it's a random, item duplication where you just kind of overload the
but in that
buffer and you
case,
get a
it's
random
not
item
really-
out of it.
Yeah, that's not really duplication, though. That's more like creation.
That's fair, yeah. So I do actually want to write that patch notes story. I think that would be funny.
Yeah.
The Ruby patch notes, where it's just like, Ruby's arc on her scythe has been nerfed by 10 degrees. John's sword damage increased by 2.
Yeah, you're
What?
Non-sword
What
damage
does that
increased
mean?
by 20. Hey, doesn't
Yeah,
matter
2
because
what?
he can't hit
What
the
does
target.
2 mean? Ozpin's coffee duplication glitch fixed. No!
excellent.
Oh.
Hello, Wisely. Improved melee attack and
Man.
defensive swords by 2. Yeah.
That's still one of the funnier moments to me. When Ruby, they tried to word of God something for Ozpin.
Oh, with the
community
hot
was just like-
chocolate?
Yeah, and the community's like, nah, fuck you. You are literally 2 volumes too late. It's coffee. It will forever
he
be coffee.
actually drinks hot chocolate? Fuck off.
Meanwhile, everyone else is like, yeah, but hot chocolate, when it cools down, doesn't taste good. Coffee, at least, could still taste okay.
True facts.
Unless you
hate
put
coffee.
cream in it, then you gotta worry about it curdling.
Ozpin doesn't
Nothing
strike me as
long
the person that
USB or
puts cream in
stuff.
it. Ozpin strikes me as the person that'll drink coffee raw.
Yeah, he just drinks it
Yeah.
straight from the bean.
Yeah,
Probably.
he just drinks it straight from the bean.
He just like crushes a bunch of coffee beans, puts them in his mouth, and just drinks fucking boiling water.
Just drinks some water, starts swishing it around aggressively.
Exactly.
That's
I mean, if it works.
fucking random, but that's actually canon in Arc Knights for the MC.
Yeah, the doctor.
He eats the noodles raw and then pours boiling water.
Yep.
It's like, what the
It's pretty
fuck,
based.
guys?
That's just the doctor's time.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Arc Knights behind the scenes are just something else sometimes.
Nothing will
Yep.
ever have anything on Payday, though. Though Azure
Yeah.
Lane is trying.
Yep. We're giving it a good run.
Yang semblance max stacks reduced by 20. Blake's gun accuracy is increased by 2. Moise's max mana reduced by 50. Ruby's speed reduced by 1.
I love that there's no consistency to the numbers either. Don't know how effective these changes are.
What is 1? What do you mean I'm slower?
I think Wise would have the biggest question of what does mana mean?
How much is 50?
Oh.
I think it would be actually a hilarious little side shit post to write. For balancing reason, Arc Family Heirloom has been level gated to 25. John just can't pick up the sword anymore. It just falls out of his hand every time.
Yep.
A fucking bird comes down and grabs it and flies away.
Slaps it in the face.
Bird is literally a higher level than John.
Yep.
Cardin's armor piercing hasn't been increased. No number that time, just Cardin's armor piercing has been increased.
Ah, I see the FromSoft dev was in charge of this patch. Lovely.
Honestly, that would actually be a great way for us to just keep it going, where we would just pull up a bunch of patch notes from various different games, and then the chapter patch notes would be that style.
Yeah.
From classic FromSoft style, and many more changes were done. What does that mean?
Between FromSoft and Nintendo's Smash updates, fucking.
I mean, yeah.
Oh.
Thank God for well, actually, Smash updates aren't that bad in Ultimate.
No, it's just the patch notes, just like increase frames. I'm like, can you give us a hard number, you asshole? At least you're telling us what you changed, unlike FromSoft.
Yeah.
Unfinished NPCs have had their models updated.
Oh, that was my favorite part of the 1.3 patch notes. Multiple character side stories added.
Yeah.
What? Guys, we're 3 weeks out. What do you mean?
Honestly, I expect at least another couple months, and we'll finally get the patch notes saying that the game is completed.
And then we get the announcement for the DLC.
Faunus faction relations, negative reputation capped at 20. Negative 20 or something. Just like, wait, what? Faunish traits reduced to 1 trait. SFX on Ruby's Speed Blossom reduced. Guys, I'm producing less flowers now.
Oh.
Atlas research tech cost reduced by 10%.
No, nerfed by 10%, so that means they're paying more?
Yes, more.
No, Gray. When Pyrrha dies, the patch notes for that would be Pyrrha removed from game.
Oh.
While bug fixing is done.
Vacuum cooldown reduced by 0.01. Coco's semblance no longer operates on non-aura bullets.
What is her semblance?
Her semblance is that she makes dust bullets explode more.
Oh, that can't actually be it. No. It's not actually that, is it?
Gravity hack nerfed. Sorry, Glinda.
Unfortunate.
Semblance hype allows her to use her aura to increase the effects and power of dust.
I'm upset.
Yeah.
I'm so upset. Why did semblances get so garbage after Monty was gone? Like, some of them were pushing it already, but like they were at least interesting.
Also, kind of character like relationing. You know, like Weiss was very about family, so she had a family-oriented semblance. Blake was all about running away from her problems, and she left clones behind to deal with them. You know, Yang was always head on and in everyone's face about things, so she had a semblance where she would eat damage and then be able to punch harder. Ruby was always about rushing places and rushing forward, you know, accelerating her whole life path, and her semblance was about speed.
Yep.
and then they realized they had to make semblances for everyone else. They're like, oh shit.
This could be a problem.
Making this many superpowers is a problem.
Yeah, I
Yes,
really...
especially with what they did for them.
That was a mistake on their part, being like semblances are supposed to be a reflection of yourself. It's like, yeah, but what does Pyrrha's polarity say about her then? Because her thing of polarity is she specifically controls the magnet. Like, does she want to be able to control who she is near or not?
I mean, if you want to get poetic about it, it could be about her being pushed and pulled everywhere.
That feels like a stretch.
Yeah, like I said, poetic.
What does Nora say about her?
Gets struck by lightning and gets stronger.
Nora's semblance says about
Masochist.
her that the developers had an in-joke. Guys, she's not Thor. Yeah, we know she uses a hammer, and when struck by lightning, she gets stronger, but she's totally not Thor, guys.
Yeah, it's just a masochist.
Then there's Jean's semblance, which...
What's his semblance again? I have aura?
Jean...
he can enhance other people's aura. So he can pump
basically
his aura
shares
into...
his.
Yeah. You remember the support buff that was in the game, Sneaky? When I was using Jean, like I would just give you guys attack buffs and defense buff?
Yeah.
That's what it ended up being in the show as well. He can share his aura and buff other people's effects as a result.
That's really lame. Also, what does that say about John? Yeah.
So, if your semblance is a reflection of your soul, does it eventually evolve? Like Flint's is he makes 3 copies of himself.
Yeah.
So how does he view himself if that's supposed to be a reflection of his soul?
I mean, you could try explaining it away a little bit. I mean, like, you know, he's got his old self. He's got the Flint of the, of the son of the was it coal miner or whatever, dust miner.
Yeah.
He's got Flint of the, current Hunter Flint, and he's got future Flint, the guy that wants to open up a cafe or whatever, right?
I don't know. And then Sun also has another clone semblance.
The thing with Sun's semblance is that his is a reference to Sun Wukong.
No, I know. His name is Sun Wukong.
Yeah, I know.
He is a reference, unfortunately.
His entire character is a reference, yeah.
He was also one of the better parts of the show, and it's a good thing that they wrote him out when they did.
Yeah, honestly, they can't ruin him now. Removed Neo voice lines to prevent data mining. Indeed. So anyway, back to this garbage ass story. Though Julius loved his son, blah, 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 knowing that his son wouldn't be able to hold on to the title of leader of the family after he died became the nail in the coffin for the healthy relationship he once had in the boy. Julius had deemed his son unworthy, and thus unworthy of being a warrior. With his mother's overbearing protective ways, and his father's more stern banning of his now discontinued training, and by extension any form of huntsman training, for some reason. It still doesn't explain. It's like, oh, he couldn't use any other weapon because he was only allowed to learn his traditions. So you're telling me that no one's ever invented anything in the Ark family? They've had the exact same moveset since the dawn of time?
Yes.
His dreams of being a huntsman and a hero were dashed to the wind. Also, If he's so dead set on being a hero, dead set enough to go steal the family sword despite not knowing how to use it, and try and run to Vale and then lie his way into Beacon, why isn't he dead set enough to go out and do some push-ups? Go out and run a bit in his room, or, outside, or just like...
Well,
what's his dad gonna do?
effort,
Stop
sneaky.
him from going out for a jog? Like, you better not be huntsman training, son. No, I'm just going for a jog. Like,
I mean, probably the author has never gone for a jog in his life either. So...
you know what? That's a fair point. In his mind, he had no choice but to steal the sword he didn't know how to use and flee to Vale to lie himself into a huntsman academy.
Oh.
No choice. He was left no other option. Too bad life has other plans for people. Other plans for people. Boy, I hate Ruby in My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
The moment John was outed for his fake transcripts by none other than Carden, his life at the academy took a nosedive. Even after saving him from being mauled to death, Carden still chose to be a worm of a man, unable to accept that he was saved by someone who in his eyes didn't deserve to be there, and he had no qualms about ratting John out. So the author is setting up Carden to be right.
Amazing.
All right. Interesting. Yeah. Cinder was reassigned to be a reoccurring mini-boss. HP will be nerfed by 50 and attack by 25. However, aggression radius is increased by 10. Yeah. After the revelation, the entire student body was shocked over his false transcripts and how he cheated another worthy candidate out of being a huntsman or huntress with Beacon Academy. His friends, well, his former friends, took it the hardest. Yeah, 'cause you fucking lied to them!
Amazing, huh?
Ruby, his first friend, was quite hurt when she learned the truth. Though while she couldn't believe that he lied to her, she by no means wanted to abandon him. As upset as she was, he was still her first friend, and she wouldn't leave him to the wolves. That being said, once the rest of her team caught wind of the big scoop, she couldn't be around him without her sister and partner making sure he was as far from her as physically possible. That's a little bit weird, but alright, understandable. If you have just learned that this guy had lied his way into an academy, that means the most prestigious academy in all of Remnant, apparently. And then, yeah, that guy would be pretty fucking shady. Also, yeah, Arn's comment does make me want to go. In every single patch, we just switch out Herobrine with remove Salem, added Salem, removed Salem, added Salem, and everyone else just like, who the fuck is Salem?
That would be fantastic.
Nerf the Judge shotgun. Nothing gets changed. Indeed.
That's the judge for you.
The rest of Team Ruby would never see him as anything more than a liar and a fake and a fraud. I mean, you are.
Yeah, they're right.
As torn as she was about all, what?
I'm always get bothered by these stories here
Yeah.
because they take place after a point where Jean has admitted to at least one of his team members about the transcript thing.
Yeah.
And we can take it to mean that eventually the others found out and they also helped up his training to get him up to snuff.
You could
He's a brand-
theoretically say that, but also at the same time, explicitly, John was seen training in secret in season 4, listening to Pyrrha's videos that she left for him, apparently. So.
Oh yeah, well no, we know that at least all of Team Juniper knows, because that was something that Rin was yelling at John about when the writers decided to have Rin be the voice of the audience and then make fun of the audience.
Oh yeah.
That was
I
one of the things
remember
that
that.
Rin
Yeah,
yelled.
in
Yeah, it's
season
like, and you
8 or
cheated
whatever.
your way in.
Yeah. And then Ruby's just like, "We're here to be heroes," she says, after implementing her plan that would force millions of people to die so they could save 10,000.
Oh yes. The inverse, what's his face? Kiritsugu?
Yeah. Kill the many to save the few.
I don't think you understand what the
million
greater
to save
good
100,000.
means, child. Let's have a discussion.
Now, Gray
My
also does
greater
bring
good.
up a good. Gray does bring up a good point. Port audio log files bug fixed. Should now play properly in order. Yeah.
But yeah, no, the abandonment fixed are always really weird, and they require the characters to be way more out of character than necessary.
I mean, the abandonment fix, no matter what the fandom we're talking about, are always incredibly terrible, because while they also not only require the characters to be way out of character, like, secretly we were evil all along, Ash, and we were setting you up for the sexual harassment lawsuit that'll ruin your career, and we're all gonna testify against you that you absolutely raped like 97 women. And then you'll be in jail forever. No! How could you all betray me like that? I'm gonna run away into the wilds and then come back in 5 years as a super Pokemon master who wears a mask and a cape, and you'll never figure out who I am.
Mm-hmm.
Every Ash abandonment betrayal story ever.
Okay then.
Also, yeah, just random patch notes like that. Nuclear weaponry range increased by 20%. This patch is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. But yeah, just the abandonment, specifically in Ruby, the abandonment / betrayal stories are really fucking cringe. I think the only decent one I've seen was the John one, where during initiation, I think it was an explosion happened, and a sinkhole occurred due to the explosion, and John fell in the sinkhole into this like underground city, and so everyone abandoned him because they all thought he was dead.
Yeah, that's fair.
Understandable.
But that was like the only good one. Unfortunately, it's like so fucking dead. That's the Ari Fuerto one. The one that casually rips off of Ari Fuerto.
Yeah. That's fun.
That was a series. I read that series. That was a fucking series. With my creation magics, I'll now create these various Japanese military vehicles. Okay.
Do what?
Yeah.
All right.
Why not?
Sure.
My favorite part was the authors trying to sit there and explain all stuff, and it's like, I'm not very familiar with automobiles, but you're full of shit. Stop it.
Rips off Ari Fuerte implies Ari Fuerte was being original enough to be ripped off. No, it kind of was, honestly. I mean, it's a classic, hero betrayal story and blah 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 blah, isekai gamer stuff, blah blah blah. Um, but it had a fairly original means it went about it in terms of the whole like eating animal that turns into monsters like is poisonous and shit, and the only reason why the guy survives is because he was literally sleeping underneath an infinite healing potion. And that was his pool of water. So even though he was like taking massive poison damage from eating all this monster flesh, he was also healing it all as he drank the potion water for water.
It had some stuff going for it.
Yeah, it was interesting. Like it had some little bits of originality in there. I mean, obviously a lot of it was otakuism, classic, rip-offs of older series, gotta fight God, God's actually evil, the church is actually evil, the classic Japanese tropes. But it had some original stuff going on in it. Ironwood's ain't nerfed by 30. Oh, come on, man. Ironwood was pretty good. That you would have to save that for like a season 8 patch note. As torn as she was about it all, Yang decided to make it clear to him that he was to stay away from Ruby. She simply didn't want him anywhere near her. She could admit that she had her faults and that she was no stranger to law-breaking, but this was something she spent time and effort training towards, and he snuck in. That being said, he stuck it out through the initiation with all of them, and she couldn't just downplay that, and she was quite conflicted over it all. Weiss, however, the ever Ice Queen, would in fact verbally tear him to pieces every time he was in eye shot of her. Fair enough. Words like weakling, liar, and filth were commonplace from her whenever they were near each other. Fair enough. Other times, if he even dared to try and get a word in, he would find himself flash frozen. That's a bit excessive. To her, he simply cemented his worthlessness with the reveal of his botched transcripts. She didn't like him beforehand, now she couldn't stand him. Blake stuck to ignoring him. The only difference was now that her silence came with an odd stare or an overly long and unreadable gaze. So very impressively, Blake continues to have no personality, even in this story.
Amazing.
His own team was in shambles now. When the word eventually found its way to his own dorm, also Max, to answer your question about, did John tell them? Probably. Is it possible they found out after Beacon fell? That's also a possibility.
Oh, for sure. Juniper at least knows.
Yeah, but Juniper knows. So even if theoretically they knew before Beacon fell, and they knew the same amount of time that Pyrrha found out, it's a little bit different finding out from John when he's like in a private setting, confiding with them, placing his trust in them, admitting his faults, and asking for help. And it's a little bit different from that to Cardinal Winchester being like, yo guys, this fucking piece of shit just literally made fake transcripts to get in here. He was just admitting it to me earlier.
Wait, have we read this story before?
I don't think we have. This has got to be a recent post. Why?
Because the paragraph talking about Rin's reaction, I swear we've seen it word for word.
Ren confronted John, shared dorm, berated John, putting Team Nora in harm, not telling them, heated words, line was drawn in the sand when it was a very rare moment of frustration. Ren punched John and kicked him out of the dorm. No, I don't remember this story at all. I mean, the author did mention that this is, in fact, an adoption story, which means that they did take it from someone else.
Now, what was the adoption story? Blue something?
Blue-eyed something, yeah. Nora wasn't much better than Ruby. No one had ever seen her so glum and moody. She couldn't even look at John without bursting into tears, not because of the transcripts, but as a result of the fight between her two dear friends. She didn't care about John's fraudulence. He was her fearless leader, and after the initiation that made it clear. Now, yeah, that's actually pretty on point for Nora. Of all people, however, it was Pyrrha's reaction that John couldn't get over. She was the first to know, and the first person he willingly told, and while he desperately wanted to believe that she would understand, fate would not let it be so. While she seemingly hadn't been obsessed with the others, the frustration was clearly visible. She made sure that he knew how much she didn't approve of him taking a spot from someone who truly deserved it. That's kind of out of character, man. And he tried to explain to her how his parents and sisters gave up on training him, and how his father didn't believe in him, but it all fell upon deaf ears. Yeah, probably because Pyrrha is a literal zero to hero character who was so prodigious at fighting at a young age that she ended up getting trainers because she got money. Like, I don't think, I don't think Pyrrha's gonna really be able to sympathize with someone like, oh, well, people tried training me, but they all said I was useless, so I just gave up. That's why I had to break the law. Yeah, I feel like Pyrrha is not someone who would sit there and sympathize with you. Person that trained their ass off every single day to be a hero
Imagine that.
of the gladiatorial arena. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
so how the author did a massive rewrite then for how everyone else found out about his transcripts.
yeah.
Pyrrha was the one he confessed it to.
Yeah, the author actually says that here. That Pyrrha was the one he willingly told, but apparently after Carden shouted it out to the world, she got very upset with him. Yeah.
Amazing.
And that is, well, you know, if you're still gonna have that moment happen, you can't just sit there and have her berate him when she was like, no, I'm gonna double down on training him, because otherwise he will actually die otherwise.
Yeah.
In fact, this Pierre is much more reasonable as a friend. Like, you need to go before you get hurt and get other people hurt. Whereas the other one's like, I'll just make sure he, you know, isn't unskilled enough to get other people hurt.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've definitely seen this before.
Yeah, have we?
So I guess we've seen Blue-Eyed Wolf, which no longer exists on fanfiction.net any longer, it appears.
Thank God.
Not surprising.
So,
Not surprising.
deleted.
Regardless of how and why you lied, John, you lied to me, you lied to everyone else. You stole a place from someone who is truly ready to be here. I can't excuse that. You'll eventually end up hurt or worse the longer you stay here. Maybe your family was right to deny training you. Not everyone was meant to be a huntsman, and that's true. Not everyone is meant to be a policeman. Not everyone is meant to be a soldier. Some people just don't have it in them. And that's just the way of things. It's like Captain America is actually a pretty good example of that. In the movies, the MCU, of course, he had the heart. And the movies actually went out of their way to say it. He had the heart. He didn't have the body. And at the end of the day, it didn't pan out for him until he got a very lucky break in that a scientist took pity on him and gave him a super serum. And now he had the body to match his heart. but it still painted an actual reality of how it doesn't matter how much you want something or how much you want to do something. If you physically cannot do it, it can't be done. Doesn't matter how many feathers you glue to your arms, you still can't fly. Maybe we can get a fic of how John gets the same super serum treatment. You know what? I can almost guarantee you, with a 99.99% certainty, that there is a fic out there where John gets the Captain America serum and becomes Captain Remnant or some stupid shit like that. At this point, it feels less like the abandonment is actually everyone reacting reasonably towards the reveal that John cheated his way into a combat academy. Yes! Yes, he was abandoned by all the people he lied to! The horror!
Imagine that.
The betrayal!
Oh, the humanity.
Indeed. She ended the conversation with a strong suggestion that he leave speaking for his safety before she left him alone on the rooftops in tears. Meanwhile, the administration wasn't going so good either. While Osmond hadn't expelled him immediately and had faith in the boy's potential, there was a great public outcry. Ridicule, public mockery, and scrutiny. Council was furious. Expulsion and jail time, which is completely reasonable.
Maybe not jail time. Well, I mean, it's illegal, I guess. So fair enough.
Yeah, fraud. He committed fraud.
Yeah. Just shoot him, honestly. Who cares?
I mean, especially if you're in a death world and someone commits fraud to get into your combat academy that protects you from the death world.
That probably will have some legality issues. Normally, Snaky, I'd say you're being a cunt again, but you brought up.
I mean, yeah,
part,
no.
so...
I think the issue here, Sneaky, is you're applying logic again.
Yeah, I know.
Right. You should really
he had to be confined
early.
within the school for his own safety, or he might be lynched. His combat lessons were now done privately with Professor Peach, as he no longer had a partner and couldn't be inside a classroom without an incident happening. No surprise that Carden was the ringleader of the abuse. The constant bullying from the other students became nothing short of relentless. And when you add that Weiss and her icy barrages wherever he so much as nudged her, the classroom just wasn't safe for him. That's a little bit excessive. I can definitely see Carden upping it. I can definitely see the other students getting in on it. Either jeering from the sidelines or suddenly finding themselves looking somewhere else just in time to not notice something another student's doing to him. That sort of stuff. Can definitely see that. Again, I think the whole ice turning him into an ice block is a little bit much. And I feel like even the teachers would be like, yo, hey, you can't be using dust to turn people into ice blocks when you're not in combat class.
Yeah.
Things didn't get any better from there, especially when he tried to get his friends to hear him out.
Oh.
What?
I just realized something.
Yeah?
Well, the authors got them piling on John about taking a spot from another huntsman or huntress.
Yeah.
Regardless of the fact that he technically had help from Pyrrha, he did survive initiation, which not everyone passes that, and there's implications that there are some serious injuries every year from it.
That's true. That's true.
I'm
However,
honestly wondering how much is their written portion even important then?
Probably not at all.
Because I want to point out that you can say he took a spot away from someone all you want, but he did somehow, like, the only thing he would have for sure died on is if Pyrrha hadn't fired her weird rifle spear that had a built-in rocket launcher for some reason. Or a built-in rocket.
Well, no, she launched it with her magnetic ability.
No, she might have steered it, Sneaky, but it fired a bullet for its initial throw, and then it continued with a jet of flame at the end of it.
Oh,
Yeah, I remember that scene very clear because I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool.
a
Why
rocket
does it have a
spear.
rocket built in?
Yeah, that's a little bit
Well, a javelin? Anyone?
Yeah, I don't know
No?
why she didn't just throw it. But okay. I guess that was just Monty trying to make things look cool, probably.
That probably was Monty's rule of cool in action there again, but maybe Jean took a spot from a huntsman or huntress, but there are a good few others that just didn't pass that were below him for one reason or another.
That's true. Yes. My counterpoint to that is he didn't do much during initiation. He kind of got carried really, really hard.
He got carried at the start, but he provided distraction, a foot lift for Nora, and managed to get the soon-to-be Team Juniper as working as one cohesive unit, making the calls in the field. That people
Yes.
theorize that's why Ozpin let him stay after initiation, which is because he was able to take command and that was about it. But this makes this weird, putting more than 5 minutes of thought into either side of this argument. Because he came in with no aura as well. Sneaky
Honestly, I think
that
without Pyrrha saving him, he probably would have
oh, he
died.
would have splattered.
Yeah.
But this just raised a horrible oversight. The
Yeah.
premier Huntsman Academy in the world doesn't check for aura of incoming
Well, no, I sort of
testers.
get that, like I sort of get that. Like, maybe I could understand not doing it because they're all going to take combat class. It's mandatory if they make it in. So if they're all going to take combat class, that means they all have to register their aura with the combat computer at some point. And so there's no real need to rush it because they're not being sent out on missions in their first year either. So by the time combat class concludes for the first year, all of their auras should be registered.
Yeah, that's the thing though. His wouldn't have been, and we know they have cameras all over the place, so there's no reason to think that they wouldn't be measuring students' aura throughout the initiation.
I
As a,
mean,
okay, maybe we can get this kid before the Grim kills them.
oh, okay, yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah,
There's
that's fair
that,
enough. Yeah.
man, why was Osmond put in charge of anything?
Oh, because he
No,
set everything
I
up
don't.
Shit.
and then put himself in charge.
Fair enough,
Get,
that works.
you gotta remember that he was the previous king of Vale that abdicted his rule
Well, yeah, I have
and gave all the
implications of
power
that.
to the headmaster.
Oh, I'm aware, but I'm just sitting here, I'm just like, why is no one asking him why all these safety concerns aren't being brought up? Because yeah, on the one hand, they gotta be able to survive initiation. On the other hand, there's no reason that innocent kids have to lose their lives if it can be prevented in that situation.
True.
There are so many things that should have caught Sean. Husband really just let this kid through for
Yeah. Shits and giggles.
unexplained reasons.
Honestly, I think shits and
Yeah.
giggles.
No matter what happens, it doesn't look good. Either he did it for shits and giggles, or he did it because his last name is Ark, and the Arks are known to have been heroes in the last war.
Yeah.
So you either have willful negligence or blatant nepotism. Huh.
Epic.
What the fuck? Alright, well, I'm gonna post that over in here, and then we'll continue on with the story. Yeah, just this. I love it how every single time we read a really bad Ruby story that actually makes us talk about Ruby, we realize there's more problems with Ruby than we previously realized.
Sounds about right.
We are 9 years into this, 6 years into this podcast, and 9 years into Ruby, and here we are still 9 years later being like, yo, what the fuck? Wait, actually, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Inside, eh?
He obviously had supply line issues, clearly.
Yeah. Should have fucking fixed his infrastructure. Come on, man.
Oh, God. His friends wouldn't listen to him when he tried to explain to them why he just had to sneak into Beacon and forge his transcripts. I wouldn't either. I wouldn't either. No longer wanting to be associated with Beacon's fake, they took to looking away whenever he was near, and with the occasional side glance from Ruby, Nora, and mostly Pyrrha was always seen. To say that his feelings was hurt was an understatement. He was miserable. I can't believe people hate me for lying to get myself in here.
Oh no. Anyway.
Yeah. His family reaction was the icing on the cake. Once the rest of the Arcs got wind of his fraud, Julius Arc came to the Academy personally to tell him that he was being disowned and excommunicated from the family.
Oh shit, what is he, John fucking Wick?
Yeah, he's been excommunicated. He's now in exile. He's gonna have to go start his own Arc church.
Oh shit.
Excommunicated from the family.
That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, the Arc family religion, don't you know? He had soiled the Arc family name and Julius would not stand for it. It didn't help that John snuck away in the middle of the night and stole the family heirloom. Now with this slight to the family, he could no longer ignore his son's decisions or hold his tongue. Furious over the theft of the family sword and his son's foolishness, he told John to never show his face to any member of the Arc bloodline ever again, and to never step foot in the household again, or risk having his aura sealed and imprisoned. Inshallah, you bring dishonor. I shall give you the taste of my shoe.
By the way,
Inshallah Arc, in fact.
This man was so mad about the family heirloom being stolen, he let Sean keep it.
Yeah. Well, you see, it was tainted now. Yeah, you know, it was tainted. He couldn't bear to look at it. This is a stoning. Yeah. This is absolutely haram.
Allah willing, we shall destroy the heretic.
This infidel shall be punished for his transgressions.
We're not even halfway through this.
I know. Yeah, we're gonna. Okay, we're gonna read the 8 months later bit, and then we're done. Jesus Christ. Well, his own mothers and sisters wouldn't even look at him. The shame and sadness was too much for him to take. To throw salt in the wound, his older huntress sisters even made sure to publicly disassociate themselves from him and denounce him via live interview. Oh man, guys, John just got canceled.
Oh shit. He got denounced. Our words are back with nuclear weapons.
Unable to hold back the pain and sadness in his heart, John closed his eyes in the middle of this blizzard, which, by the way, has been going this whole time. He had been abandoned by people he thought were his friends. humiliated, beaten, and bullied by his peers. They aren't your fucking peers. You lied, you bitch. And then abandoned by his own blood for lying, stealing, and creating a massive scandal.
Amazing.
Yes. The pain he felt was immeasurable, but the outside pain was unbearable. And soon he fell unconscious. And then he heard a wolf's howl in the distance. 8 months later, a young man with long blonde hair entered the cave. Behind him was a fierce blizzard. He had a thick overcoat on his lower hips. And the last thing, blah, 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 backpack, blah, 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 his combat boots. Being barefoot was uncomfortable with aura. Fire pit, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure how, but I'm grateful. I can't believe how lucky I was. That blizzard almost killed me, but then a strange wolf dragged me back to a cave. I've never seen a wolf this big before. It was super thick.
Big boy.
I completely thought it was gonna eat me, and then I was surprised when it shared its kill with me, and then I met the whole pack. Of course, most of them are still wary of me. Granted, the Alpha, as I've come to call him, is on pretty good terms with me. Blah 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 blah, Alpha, 6 wolves pack, average wolf, force of veil. Strangely enough, pack all have blue eyes. Blah blah
God.
blah.
I just got a horrible idea.
Uh,
Sneaky, you remember how the Roman Empire started, according to the myth?
yeah.
Yeah. Imagine that, but for Ark. The Ark Empire.
I learned how to
the-
attack things by studying the wolves. By the 3rd month, I had a basic pattern of fighting down. I have now invented my own fighting style, and I feel strong. Quakamore still doesn't feel good in my hands, and I also stole it and stuff.
Oops.
I finally found how to make bow and arrows. Yeah, I just figured it out.
As you do.
And then since then he's become an aura god by studying meditation. And then day 180 with the wolves. Yeah, as time goes on, it's just cringe stuff. John's super strong now, and he knows a bunch of stuff, and he knows how to survive. And then he became a sage. And realized that natural aura was in all things. And he was able to gather natural aura to activate the true secrets of his wolf style. And proceeded to fight like a wolf. And beat up all the bandits.
Epic.
And then the last bandit's like, "Yo, dude, don't kill me, man." And he's like, "Oh, did you take it easy on those guys over there?" And he points to the wolves they all killed. And the dude's like, "Bro, what the fuck? They're just dogs, man. Animals, like all the faunas." You just had to slip that one in there, didn't you, author?
Based.
And then John bashed him to death because he would not tolerate bigotry and racism.
Of course. Allah willing.
Inshallah, he shall give you the taste of his shoe.
You shall not talk shit about Saddam. I will make
And
you
then he
taste my
commanded the other bandit to strip down naked.
Kinky, but alright.
Yep. And so then he was like, "Alright, fine, I won't kill you, but I will set you off into this blizzard with no clothes on, so run."
Yes.
Okay. And then he's like, I need a new name. I need a name that no one will recognize. I am Blue Wolf. And he decided he was gonna go back to society now.
Nah, fuck society. We out there in the forest and shit.
I gave him the Eyes of Death and the Fire Force Ignition ability.
Epic.
Cringe.
Instant death.
It'll be an aura precognition ability in total, where he's able to see how everyone's attacking him because he can see what they're going to do with their aura. That's pretty cringe.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's that, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank God.
9:06, which means we're done for the night. I hope everyone learned something here tonight. I hope everyone learned something here very important. I learned I need more vodka.
Yeah, same. Cheers.
Good night. And come back on Friday. Yes, Friday. Come back on Friday because there's always more, and it always gets worse.